Do you ever forget your keys, wallet, or cell phone? Me too. Well, I don't forget yours, but mine. It all started in elementary school when I constantly came home without my jacket, homework, or bag of marbles. Mom would be standing in the kitchen, soup ladle in her hand on her hip, glaring. You forgot your jacket at school again, didn't you? Son, you are so scatterbrained. I didn't forget about the fishing trips with Dad. I'd get our tackle box organized, dig up worms for bait, watch fishing shows on TV to prepare. Fish on. Mom again. Son, all you think about is fishing. I swear you have a one-track mind. For the life of me, I couldn't figure out how I could be scatterbrained and have a one-track mind. Had I lost my marbles? Or were my wires simply crossed? Either way, it probably explains why I try so many things backwards. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, trying things backwards can actually make life more memorable and way more fun. Just ask my parents. They'll tell you about a time they took my sister and me to see our grandparents. As Dad drove us down that familiar dirt road that led to Grandma's house, which was not the yellow brick road or the pathway to success, he suddenly stopped the car. Okay, you two, who's first? Every time we visit your grandparents, you act up, and we spank you on the way home. Today, we're going to spank you before you misbehave. Yes, this whipping is for what you're going to do wrong. We're trying it backwards. Now you know where I get it from. That was way before timeout and positive reinforcement. After Mom and Dad's preemptive strike, we got that proverbial, kids, that hurt us more than it hurt you. You know what? They lied. They never shed a tear, had to rub their rear end or lost their privileges after they spanked us. No, they were proud of themselves for creating a family memory and trying something backwards. Have you ever tried something backwards? Done something backwards? Maybe it's time to order dessert before your meal. My wife and I were dining at a fancy Italian restaurant. The waiter, older gentleman, gray hair combed straight back, made his way to our table. Good evening. Can I get the two of you started with something? Yes, please. My wife would like some panna cotta, and I'd like some spumoni. Excuse me, sir. You want to order dessert before your meal? Yes, sir. Life's uncertain, you know. I see. That's a splendid idea. That was the only time that waiter smiled all night. Who would have thought trying something backwards could put a smile on the face of an uptight waiter working in a fancy Italian restaurant? Maybe it's time to be nice to the police officer after you've signed the speeding ticket. I was the passenger, my buddy Doug was the driver. After Doug signed the $326 speeding ticket, he looked at the officer and said, "Sir, I apologize for speeding. I totally respect what you do, and I really appreciate you keeping the roads safe." Who says that after a $300 speeding ticket? If it had been me, I might have been half that nice until I got rode up. Then it would have been a different story. The officer went back to his car. Doug pulled away from the curb and began to merge us back into traffic when, to our utter astonishment, that officer lit us up a second time and pulled us back over. I looked at Doug and said, "He liked your compliment so much, he's going to write us up for something else so he can get some more." The officer walked up to the driver's side window and said, "Let me have that ticket." He ripped the ticket up in little pieces, handed the wad of paper back to Doug. This happened on McHenry Avenue, Modesto, California. And he said to Doug, "Thanks for respecting me, young man." Trying something backwards, like being nice instead of mean, actually respecting a police officer instead of criticizing him, could get you out of a ticket. I doubt it, but it could. It worked for Doug. It could save your life. Couple other tips on trying things backwards. Why not have your memorial service before you pass away? That way you get to see who shows up, hear what people have to say, correct any exaggerations. And the next time you're the joke master at your Toastmasters club, laugh hysterically before you give the punchline. If your joke's not funny, they'll laugh at you. Fellow Toastmasters and friends, if parents can discipline their kids before they misbehave, and you can order your dessert before your meal, then I can take the conclusion of my speech and try it backwards. Yes, I was encouraged. Donny, set yourself apart from other speakers. Try something different. That may have been a bad idea, because I can't see the time clock right now. I should have just fallen on my face, but that's been tried before. Some of you are worried about me right now. Trust me, this hurts me more than it hurts you. And at least you get to see a completely different side of me. And I get a brand new perspective. And that, my friends, is what trying something backwards is all about.